everyone, it's Lindsay. Thank you for tuning into another video. I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you again for being here and just taking an interest in what it is that I do. If you hadn't guessed already, this is going to be a Christmas themed junk journal, and this is going to be my junk journal for 2020. I did make this a little while ago. I've had this video ready to go. And I was just desperate to get it out, and I was waiting for Christmas in July. So here it is. This is as I say, this is my Christmas junk journal for 2020. What I'm doing here is cutting down some cereal box card to the size. I don't know what the size is. I can measure it if you like, if you want that information. But all I've done is taken an A4 sheet of paper, folded it in half, and then I used that to cut. So you can see here I've given myself a few millimetres around the edge. And I'm FaceTiming my sister at this time. We do a crafty session on a Friday. So I was showing her what I was doing at this point, which is why you saw me turn it around and face it. My phone's in front of me so she can see what I'm doing. So what I've done is I've pulled out some Christmas fabrics. I have pulled out my Christmas journal from 2018. If you haven't seen the flip through of that, check that out. I shared my December daily. And that tree there is what gave me the inspiration for this. Now these, yes, it's going to light up. These lights I've had since January. I got these in John Lewis. They were having a sale on all their little Christmas bits, and I managed to pick them up for quite cheap. I had no idea what I was going to do with them. I just knew that I had to make my journal light up this year. So I got the idea, and it sort of came. Oh, my eldest brought me in a cup of tea after a little bit of encouragement into doing it for me. So I am using that as inspiration. The idea just came to me, and I thought, yes, that is what I'm doing. So how I'm going about it is I'm drawing out the really bad triangles, but I'm drawing out the triangles to give me an idea of the shape and the size that each piece needs to be. And I'm obviously using one of those pieces that I cut out for the cover, so I get it, a good size for the cover. There's no measurements going on here. I'm eyeballing all of it. I think that's quite obvious. And I'm folding those pieces in half to cut the edges so they are all even, just so they look neat and just look like they're supposed to be triangles of some sort. Now I did cut the top off, so it's not a pointy top. I don't like the look of a pointy top for the Christmas tree. For these, personal preference, you can obviously cut your top however you want it to be. I just liked the flat top, and I may add something to the top when I actually come to use my December daily, but for now I'm really happy with how it's turned out and how it looks. And sometimes you can overdo something, by just overthinking it, and I quite like how it's just coming together. So I'm going out my pieces of fabric, and I'm going to cut pieces. I'm going to use these as templates to cut out pieces to make up the construction of the tree, and it's as simple as cutting around each shape. Once you've done this bit, I think this is the hardest bit in getting the well, actually I say that, we'll come to the hardest bit in a little while. I don't like to make things easy for myself at all, but when it comes to Christmas, I am going all in. I'm extra to the max because I just love Christmas. So yeah, so this bit was the drawing around of getting the sort of triangular shapes. Getting those right was quite tricky, but again, like I say, it was all eyeballing. If I made a second one, it wouldn't look anything like the first one because I did throw these little triangles away. They're not even triangles; they're four-sided, but you know what I mean. So I'm not necessarily using Christmas tree fabric. I'm just using Christmas themed fabric, and I like the mix of different colours. It would look equally nice with cardstock as opposed to fabric. It would look nice with all the same fabric. It would look nice with all green fabrics. I just like the mixture of all the different ones. So I'm assembling this. I'm happy with my tree, and I'm going to go and adhere all these little pieces of fabric to one sheet of paper just to kind of hold them all down in place. And start assembling the tree. Apologies for that. So I hope you're all okay, you're all doing very well, and you're having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is when you're watching this and wherever you are. And you're all safe and well. Things here are easing loads, but we've gone into the school holidays now, so the kids are all off school for the summer anyway. And hopefully in September everything will be somewhat normal. I have no idea what I'm doing at this point. Because I sped the video up, my arm looks a bit dodgy there, a bit weird. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to assemble these triangles. They're not even triangles, I'm going to stop saying triangles. I'm going to assemble these shapes into one big Christmas tree shape. And I'm just going to take a piece of copy paper and start sticking them down. And so the fun begins. So using some Fabri-Tac, you can use whatever you want to use here on these pieces. It's really to hold them in place because I'm going to sew these. Now I made sure that I stuck the glue around the outside. I didn't really want glue in the centre, and that was largely down to the fact that I'm going to push the lights through later on, so I didn't want there to be loads of glue, like dried glue in the middle, because it would just add bulk and it might make it difficult. Anyway, that's just something that I was mindful of. And I'm just using a piece of ribbon for the very stump of the tree, and I've just got some nice sort of metallic-y gold ribbon that I think worked really well for the bottom, instead of cutting out another piece of this Christmassy fabric. But of course you can use that. And I'm apologising now in advance for the fact that this is not really on camera. But this wasn't going to be a tutorial. I was filming it just to show you what I did. I don't expect anyone to actually be following along with this. If you are, wow, credit to you. I don't think it's very easy to follow along with. If you are doing this yourself, I'm sure, however yours turns out, will be absolutely incredible. I don't think you can go wrong with some Christmas fabrics and cutting them into a Christmas tree shape, if I'm honest. I can't imagine many ways that will go wrong. Anyway, so yeah, if you do have a go at this, or definitely have a go at this. You don't even have to add the lights. I just, as I said earlier, like to be a little bit extra when it comes to Christmas, if you hadn't already guessed. And if you do want to see my December daily from 2019, there is a playlist in my channel which I will link, and you can go and check those out, and that will give you an idea of what's in store if you want to subscribe and watch my Christmas process for 2020. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be sharing it with you all, because I've got loads of great feedback from last year, and it's what I love, and that's what this channel is about for me. So why is this not even on the screen? Oh goodness me. It was quite late at night as well. My sister, I think, had gone by this point. Like, we'd finished our crafting session. I was doing this till early hours of the morning, because you're just in the flow and it's just happening and the ideas are just flowing. You've got to carry on. You can't just stop and come back to it later. It doesn't work that way. So I just cut around my Christmas tree. And what I'm doing here with my cereal box, my Rice Krispie box, is I'm backing it onto some white just paper, printer paper, because you can see the pattern through the fabric that I've chosen to use, and obviously any extra little bit of strength to reinforce the cover and the spine and whatever else is always a good thing, especially with like the OTT-ness that will be my Christmas junk journal this year and every year. So I'm just cutting around it. I'm not going to fold the edges or anything down, because this is going to be covered in fabric, so it doesn't matter. You can do this in other ways. You could use gesso. I do find that gesso can warp this thinner sort of cardstock, so I tend to steer clear of it for this purpose anyway. And if it's practical enough to do, I will always cover my my box with paper. And if you are going to stick like cardstock or something on top, you need to make sure it's stuck down really well. You can see I've got some bubbles. It doesn't matter. The type of fabric I'm going to use will cover all of those little imperfections, so it really doesn't matter. So assembling it, making sure everything lines up, obviously leaving that little bit of a gap between the spine and the covers, because you need that for the for it to open and close. Now, I didn't do the sewing on camera because it was quite fiddly, but all I've done is that piece, so this is all stuck onto that printer paper, that copy paper. I fabric tacked it again around the edge onto my piece of fabric that I've cut to size, and I've sewn around with a little tiny zigzag stitch with some green thread, and I've sewn around all of the shapes. So you can see on the back here quite clearly how I've actually sewn the tree, and I've sewn, you can see here, you can see it really well on the bottom actually where that ribbon is. So I've actually made a mistake here. I have stuck the spine on and it's in the wrong place, and I will tear that off eventually. I will realise that. One thing that I would be more mindful of in future when it comes to assembling the journal with this kind of design on the front, I would allow myself a bit more playroom. You can see that I've cut my piece of fabric like really well to size. This is exactly how much fabric I need for this, but I've not allowed myself, I've not given myself any allowance, like, or margin for error, that's probably a better way to put it. So if you're going to do something like this and you're going to do like a fixed design, you know, whether it's this or whether it's something else, it doesn't matter. But allow yourself that space for error, because I think the only qualm I've got with my journal, as much as I'm 100% happy with it, the only thing I would change if I could go back and redo it is I would centre my tree a little bit better. I'd have my tree a bit further down, so that I could perhaps add a star on top. If I add a star onto the top of this one, it'll still look good, but it will overhang, which I don't think I'll want. But I mean, who knows? It will evolve as it does each and every year. Now, I had a lot of trouble getting these lights in. It was a stressful experience, but in true me style, I persevered because I won't be beaten by some lights. So pushing these lights through to the front, bearing in mind I've got a layer of that sort of furry sort of sheep's fur fabric. I've got the paper, and then I've got the fabric itself on top. So I'm having to push it through without making a hole that's way too big that the lights end up falling out, or it just ends up looking a bit of a mess. So I've got an awl and I'm making a hole, and I am literally having to use a nail and force the lights through. And I do this for each light. I'm not even sure how many lights there are on the string. There's about 20 odd. I counted the lights, and I actually designed, I'm trying with tweezers, like it's just not working. I was getting so cross and I was thinking, I'm going to have to wait, I'm going to have to come back to this in the morning. But no, I wasn't beaten. It has come together, it works. So I just wanted to leave this part in the video to show you the sheer frustration and the fact that, you know, it's a lovely journal, it's come together amazingly. I'm so proud of myself for even just achieving this, but I want to show you that the struggle is real when you're doing these things, and don't give up. If you've got an idea in your mind and you can really visualise how it's going to be and how it's going to come together, you can make it happen. And as I say, these lights, I could have just given up here. I could have just stuck the lights on the front, but I didn't want them on the front. I wanted them to go through from behind, and here I think I'm genuinely finding success with the first light, and there won't be much more of this. Oh my gosh, my head is right in the way. Oh lordy, that's funny. So yeah, the struggle is real, but make it happen, people. Don't be beaten by lights or journaling or whatever the case may be. Maybe come up with a different solution, but it can be done, is what I'm trying to show you here. I've sped this video up, so after God knows how long, I finally managed to get the first light in. After getting the first light in though, the rest of the lights didn't take me that long. I kind of worked it out, trial and error, and then the rest of them worked nicely. Yeah, going back to the number of lights, I counted them out. I counted the number of sections I had, and I kind of drew it out so they kind of spread out nicely. And here I'm giving a little demonstration of the lights and how they look from behind. And you can see I've kind of like spread them all out so they cover all the different sections, and I couldn't be happier with how this has worked out. So this is where I've noticed my error, and I'm kind of, do I pull it off? Do I not pull it off? But you can see here, it's a little far over to the left, it's not quite straight, so I have no choice really but to pull this piece off. Oh, painful as it is. And you can see there that the blue definitely shows through that fabric. And I wanted the blue to be on the back side because the fabric I was going to use on the inside, you would have seen it through even more. And it just is what it is. I had to cut another piece out and recover it with some fabric tack, as you do. So, starting with the cover, and I'm putting a bit of glue on this, and I'm dotting the glue in between. I mean, I don't know if fabric tack is, I'm pretty sure it will be flammable because it's acetone based, but I mean these lights aren't going to be on for any length of time to warrant it getting hot, but perhaps be mindful of that if you're going to recreate something with lights. So I'm just kind of made a bit of a conscious effort to not put loads of glue on or near to the lights. Just to be on the safe side. Now again, you can't see what I'm doing here. I wasn't in filming mode, I was more in just creating this kind of mode, and I just turned the camera on and I caught what I caught. So what I'm doing here is cutting a little slit. This isn't neat by any standard, and it's for that for the little control, the battery pack to go through. So obviously the lights are on the other side of this card right now, and I need the little control panel, little battery panel to come through, which, there you go. And that will be hidden because I will create a little pocket for that to sit in inside, so it's not just flapping about and dangling about. And I've no idea why I was just taking it off. Oh, I think the lights didn't come through properly. So take two. Let's put that back in place. Yeah, and stick that front cover down. Yeah, one of the things I did keep doing before I got to this level, this point is, and you can see here, just quickly, right at the very bottom, there's not a lot of fabric left. And that was, at this point, I'm trying to just really centre the tree on that front cover. So there's not a lot of fabric left at the bottom, which is fine. But this is what I said earlier in the respect of leaving yourself margin for error, and just being mindful that you might need a bit of playroom, unless you're absolutely on it with your, sticking your tree down in the right place in the first place. That would obviously be the ideal thing to do, but it doesn't always work that way. So I've made sure that I've pulled all those lights through and that they all work and everything has come together quite nicely. And here, my nails are ruined from the fabric tack. Here I'm going to show you just quickly that you could use this little string of lights. I got this from the Works last year at Christmas. You could add something on the top. It doesn't necessarily have to be a star, it could be a button, it could be a little gem. I'll show you a ribbon in a minute. You can use the tinsel, obviously, that I've just shown you, because tinsel just works on a tree. So again, there are a few things you can do to further embellish the journal if you're going to recreate, or if you don't have the lights. The lights for me are the feature and I don't want to detract from that. But obviously if you don't have lights, then there are other ways to kind of make it look really, really fun and festive. You don't have to go the extra mile like I did. And this is the completed journal. So it's all been put together, and as I said, I couldn't be happier with how this has come out. I've used this as a page marker, and I've actually cut a slit. So when I was assembling the journal, I cut a slit in the fabric, so it's all very seamless, and you can see that it goes down behind that fabric. It's like a suede. I love this. It's a suede. I think I got it from Tiger in the UK. again last year at Christmas. I've made this little pocket and I've edged it so it separates the pocket from the background fabric, and it's obviously got the little light thing in there, the little battery pack thing, and I trimmed all around the edge very slightly and left like a tiny little bit around the edge, and I've just folded it over that fabric edge, and because of the type of material it is, it just works really well for that. So that is my cover for my Christmas journal for 2020. I will be adding pages, embellishments, all that fun stuff. Like I've said, check out previous ones to see what this is likely to end up looking like, and I cannot wait to continue on with this. So I will be back soon. Take care guys, bye for now.